Fargo Five. I'm Conrad Fargo. We are here with Dr. Marit Hordvik. Hello, doctor.
Hi.
See, I wrote Mar-it, so I want to say it wrong. That's been very successful for me. Usually I'm really bad with the names, but I put 3 R's on it. No screw-ups. I'm doing okay. Yeah, do you get a lot of difficulty? Like, because you always have to spell it out, right, when you're on the phone with people?
I do. I spell both first and last names.
Every time?
Every time.
And has that been a blessing or a curse, or you just live with it, you just accept it? Did you give your children normal names?
Well, it depends on what you consider normal.
Typical. We don't say, and I know this in the medical community, we don't say normal anymore. We say typical, right?
No, my children are blessed to have Scandinavian names.
Okay. As is mine. And so I was telling you, so it was hot and heavy with my wife trying to figure out, because my wife is Japanese.
Oh.
And so we agreed a long time ago that the girls get Japanese first names, Western middle names, and the boys get Western first names, Japanese middle names.
Perfect.
And so, the girls, that was up to my wife to decide. We worked on it, and I had my input, but it was hers to decide. My son, I was all excited to, get a boy. I wanted a little mini-me, and I love my daughters, but I was just excited to have, and the breath of life, experience everything, right? And I wanted it to be something special, and I'm a millennial, so we all have crazy names for our kids. And I ended up going with very, very Scandinavian version of William, who is the namesake of my uncle who adopted me when I was 7. So his name is William, but I just don't like the letter W. I just don't like it. So I went with William. William. How about, can you give me that with a
William?
Yeah, hey, I love it. And it's spelled with a J.
Yes,
so it's
that.
with the Scandinavian J. And my wife's biggest issue is that, our whole life, we're going to have to say, what's your son's name? William. William? No, William with a, can you spell that? Yes, Viljam.
Yep.
We got to sit and do that forever.
Right.
Is that did we just curse him?
No.
Because it's too late.
He'll be fine with it.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
It'll make him unique and stand out. So.
This is the frequently asked questions segment. So that was our first question. How about we do that? And then you're a doctor. I've got another one. I'm not going to the frequently asked questions on this segment. I've got 2 big questions. So that was the first one. I'm just making them all personal and for me. So what do you think of that? My personal questions today.
Okay.
So, I've got 3 children. I've got the 5-year-old, the 3-year-old, and the newborn. And I was waiting for a meeting to start. I was at my brokerage. I'm a realtor, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Premier Properties. And I was listening to a couple people have a conversation about their child entering school. And it was relevant to me because my child is entering school. And they said, well, I'm really happy that so-and-so is moved into such and such. Now that, I held them back a year. And now they're head of the class because I held them back a year. They're the smartest person in the class, and everybody's learning from them.
Okay.
And the thought that occurred to me, and so I'd like to maybe have your perspective on this and tell me what you think of this. I would rather not do that. I would rather, if I get to choose, is my child going to be the head of the class or the last of the class? To me, it seems almost on its face obvious that I'd rather them be last in the class so that they can have people to learn from. If my child is the head of the class, that means they're not being challenged by their peers. Is that totally crazy? Or what are your... So you had 4 children. And how would you... Because it's not a competition. Because I don't see schooling as... It's not a competition. They're not trying to win the 3rd grade, right? They're trying to improve themselves. Wherever my child is at is where my child is at. And so if I have the choice to surround my child by people who are ahead of them or behind them, I'd rather surround my child with people ahead of them. No? I mean, what are your thoughts? As a medical doctor or as a mother? I mean, what?
That's an interesting way of looking at it, I guess. I think it really depends on the child. I don't necessarily think that if you put your whole child in one year versus another year that it's going to make them smarter or not. They're either going to be intelligent and have those work skills and whatever at any age.
Oh,
It has more to do with emotional maturity, I think.
you think so?
I do.
When
I
you're
think,
family doctor, so you watch these kids. What age could you go to it? Because they're a pediatrician until X age, right? And then what age do they switch over to family?
well, family practice encompasses the entire realm. So
really?
literally cradle to death.
Huh.
So I delivered patients and took care
really?
of all of their needs. So, I could take care of the mom and the baby,
Oh, wow.
and then we just kept them, and they grew up with me, and I, invited to
Well, that's
graduations and weddings.
That's a little different. So 'cause at Sanford they have family medicine, and I've got my family medicine. My wife and I share the same.
Yep.
And we
that
actually
person could see your child.
really.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to look at that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, pediatricians will follow them up until anywhere between 17 and 21 or 22, depending on the health situation.
Huh.
But family medicine literally kind of does a little bit of everything.
In your estimation or in your experience, you don't seem to think that there's much to. I mean, it must make a difference what school you're sending your child to or what kind of training they get. You think it's just that you're kind of born with the genes you have and you're either going to be that smart or you're not?
Well, no, I wouldn't exactly say that. I think, there are circumstances that change things, obviously, but I think that if you have a person that wants an education, for example, and they're graduating from high school, I don't think it matters if they go to Ivy League or community college. They're going to get educated because they want it,
Yeah.
and they'll be able to hold their own against anybody,
Yeah. Well, and especially in modern ages where, I mean, anything you want to know is right there, right in front of right on the screen. You can research it and figure it out if you're so inclined.
I think it has more to do with motivation and interest and that type of thing. I do think it's important for everyone to be out in public and get some of those social skills. I mean, definitely see a change.
People say that. They say you got to go to school to develop those social skills, and then the first thing they tell you in class is stop talking. You're not here to talk. You're here to listen to me. So
yeah, there's some of that. For sure. Probably the in the hallway things and
yeah, the 15 minutes in the hallway is getting all that. Yeah.
But they're in a room with people and they're listening to other ideas and things and seeing behaviors and.
All right. Well, we are. Wow, that went. No, were we really? Yeah, that was 8 minutes. We gotta move to the next segment. Take a break and then go to the next segment. So that was at frequently asked questions. That was fun. Was fun. And then we'll get Fargo favorites. So don't go nowhere.